In most of the world, archery is about hitting a target. In Japan, the target is almost beside the point. This is the profound difference that Buddhism brought to the ancient art of the bow, transforming it from a martial skill into a spiritual practice known as Kyudo, the way of the bow. The story begins in the 12th century when Zen Buddhism took root in Japan's warrior culture. Samurai, who had been using bows in warfare for centuries, began to see their weapons as instruments of enlightenment. The bow wasn't just a tool for battle. It was a path to understanding the nature of self and reality. The transformation wasn't immediate. Early Japanese archery, called Kyujutsu, was purely practical. Mounted warriors used short, powerful bows to devastating effect in battle. Accuracy mattered because lives depended on it. But as Japan entered periods of relative peace, warriors had time to contemplate the deeper aspects of their arts. Zen monks, particularly those from China, introduced concepts that would revolutionize Japanese archery. They taught that the act of drawing a bow could be a form of meditation, that the moment of release could be a moment of enlightenment. The target became less important than the archer's state of mind. This philosophical shift created something entirely new. In Kyudo, the archer doesn't aim in the conventional sense. Instead, they enter a state of no mind, where conscious thought disappears. The release of the arrow happens naturally, without the archer's conscious decision. It's the bow that shoots, not the person holding it. The physical form of Kyudo reflects this spiritual dimension. Every movement is prescribed. From the way an archer approaches the shooting line to the ceremonial handling of the bow and arrows. There are 8 stages to shooting, each with its own name and meaning. These aren't just techniques, they're ritualized actions designed to cultivate mindfulness and presence. The bow itself became sacred. Made from bamboo and wood, often taking years to complete, a Kyudo bow is a work of art as much as a weapon. The arrows are crafted with equal care, their feathers carefully selected, their points precisely balanced. This attention to detail isn't about performance. It's about respect for the tools that facilitate spiritual practice. One of the most striking aspects of Kyudo is its relationship with failure. Missing the target isn't seen as a mistake, but as information about the archer's spiritual state. If your mind is scattered, your arrow will miss. If you're trying too hard, your release will be forced. The target becomes a mirror, reflecting the archer's inner condition. This approach produced some remarkable practitioners. Awa Kenzo, a master who lived in the early 20th century, could reportedly shoot arrows that would split other arrows already in the target. But his most famous feat was shooting in complete darkness, hitting targets he couldn't see. When asked how he did it, he replied that he and the target were one. There was no separation, no distance to overcome. The influence of Zen created unique training methods that seem almost mystical to outsiders. Students might spend months learning just to hold the bow properly, or years perfecting their breathing. Some masters would have students practice drawing and releasing without arrows, focusing purely on the internal experience. Others would have students meditate on the sound of the bowstring, finding in it the music of the universe. The dojo where Kyudo is practiced became a sacred space, more temple than training ground. Students bow to their equipment, to their teachers, to the targets. Every session begins and ends with formal ceremony. The competitive aspect that drives most archery is deliberately minimized. In Kyudo, you're not competing against others. You're working to transcend your own limitations. This spiritual approach to archery caught the attention of Western philosophers and writers. Eugen Herrigel, a German philosopher who studied Kyudo in the 1920s, wrote about his experiences in Zen in the art of archery, introducing these concepts to a global audience. His accounts of learning to shoot without conscious effort resonated with people seeking alternatives to purely rational approaches to skill and knowledge. Modern Kyudo maintains these philosophical foundations while adapting to contemporary life. Practitioners still wear traditional clothing, still follow ancient ceremonies, still seek that moment of perfect release where the self disappears and only the action remains. The bow continues to serve as a bridge between the physical and spiritual worlds, just as Zen masters intended centuries ago. In Kyudo, missing the target isn't failure. It's part of the path. The real target isn't the circle of paper 40 feet away, but the perfection of character, the cultivation of presence, and the direct experience of unity with all things.